I decided to record live today because I think this is going to go a little bit longer than what I've done before, and sometimes it's kind of hard to make the transfer from the video to my phone or to Facebook. Takes a little while to do that. So here we are. I'm outside. It's a beautiful day. You'll hear the birds and the wind in the background. But I want to talk to you about something that's just been really weighing heavily on my mind the last several days, and I really felt that the Lord wanted me to talk to you about this, and this is ambiguity and confusion. And I first learned about this when I was living in China, because China is a pretty ambiguous culture. You never quite know what's going on. And so you spend a lot of time trying to interpret. And after you go to a meeting or you hear something that's happening in society or culture, you're always asking, what's really going on here? And I feel like this is what's going on in our world today. Ambiguity means the quality of being open to more than one interpretation. And even this morning, as I was doing my usual news bouncing from one place to another, there are so many different opinions and so many different ideas of what's going on, and some of it is actually quite disturbing, which is hard, and it brings confusion because you don't know how to react. You don't know what is true, what course of action you're supposed to take. The big thing now is, do you wear a mask or do you not wear a mask? And this is something that you need to be informed about and make a decision for yourself. But how do you make that informed decision? Because you have so many conflicting ideas. And then the fluidity. Things are always changing. And these things are very, very hard. Not too long ago, I was just feeling, I spent several days totally unmotivated. I would have my quiet time in the morning, and then I'd go to my iPad and start binge watching favorite TV shows or movies. And before I knew it, it was evening, and I had done absolutely nothing that day except maybe make my bed, maybe not. And I thought, what is going on with me? And someone shared an article with me about all of the underlying currents that we're also dealing with, not just the things on the surface. So, for example, for me, with an extrovert, being deprived of people takes away so much of my energy. And what I find is that when I connect with people, even with you, we're not sitting face to face, but even connecting with you gives me energy. And so these are some things that I need to do concretely that I can do. But anyway, the underlying currents that are pulling us down. So at that point in time, my cat was suffering. I knew there was something wrong with her, and I didn't know what it was. I was very worried about my financial situation, and I had spent hours on the phone with my creditors and utilities and all the people I pay bills with, and every conversation started out, I have lost my job due to COVID-19. And then trying to find the right person to make the right arrangements, it's exhausting, and it was so hard. And what I didn't think about was the underlying stress that it was causing me. So we have these external things that are ambiguous because we can't quite figure out what's going on. The things that are clear are our jobs and our finances and what's going on in the schools and what's going on with the economy, and are the COVID numbers going up or are they going down, and all of those things that are coming at us from the outside. And then we have the internal things. So you might be worried about your children or your family, or a family that's far away and you're not in a lot of contact with them. You may, even though you have things settled out with your bills and finances, this is still gnawing on the inside of you because we don't know what's going on with the economy. The economy is the external thing. How it impacts you directly is the internal thing. With me, it was my cat. My cat has since passed away, and so an internal thing that I'm struggling with is grief. And yeah, and every once in a while my heart will just kind of go like that. I think the two biggest things for me that I miss with my cat are her being at the door when I walk in after I've come home from somewhere, and the other is just the opposite, her jumping onto my sofa to watch me leave. And those were things that I just held near and dear to my heart. And hearing her purr, that's another thing. So those are things that are working on my heart and my soul and the inside. what we don't understand or we don't talk about is how all of this then impacts our soul. And when I came home from China and had this aha moment that it was the ambiguity that had just exhausted me and taken so much out of me, that was a huge thing. And then I could move forward and really process the things that had happened over the time that I lived there. But what are some things that you can do now? Well, one thing is just realize that God doesn't change. God is consistent. The God of the Bible is always who he says he is, and you can hold on to that for sure. Another thing that you might want to do is list things in your life that are not changing. There are some things that are not changing. My friends are not changing. I can make you a list of who they are, and they are constant. My home is not changing. The things I love to eat are not changing, and I'm going to make taco salad for lunch today, and I'm looking forward to that. Those aren't changing. And along with realizing the things that are not changing is thanking God for them and being grateful for them. Another thing that you can do that will really help you through this time is to look for the good in the change. I'll share something with my finances that is a little bit vulnerable thing for me. So as I worried about my finances, I still haven't received my money from the government, and finally figured out what was going on with that. My unemployment was not coming through, and I was watching things dwindle. And as I prayed, God just said, "You know I have you." And one friend came up and she said, "How much do you need?" And so I gave her amount, and that's what she wrote the check out for. And then she handed me another large sum of money in cash. She said, "Because you're going to need cash too." Oh, wow, God, that's really hard. And then our choir is meeting on Sunday nights via Zoom, and during the prayer time, I just asked for prayer and peace that God had my finances in his hand. And a friend said, "So do you have," I think it's Zelle. I said, "No." And she goes, "Well, go on your account and sign up for it." And so I did, and I let her know. And on 2 occasions, she put money in my account, and I was just blown away. And then another friend sent me a check. And it was like, wow, God, this is really hard, because it's hard for my ego to accept this. I'm used to being pretty independent and providing for myself, but these are gifts that you're giving me, and God, I know you're blessing them in the giving, so I am so grateful. And then about that time, my unemployment started coming through, and I didn't realize that I would be getting Georgia unemployment as well as unemployment from federal unemployment. Well, I don't know where it's coming from, but from J. Jill. So God has brought me through. God has shown me that in this time of insecurity and ambiguity, that he really is taking care of me. So these are the things that God's laid on my heart to tell you today. I will be sharing some more things on ambiguity with you in the next few days, in the next few weeks, because I really feel like this is a very, very important thing for us to think about. It's a scary thing, and it's a really big thing. And so I'd love to hear your thoughts and ideas about how this uncertainty is impacting you, and also what you're doing to be able to deal with it and to make life more of something you can grab onto that's tangible, and something that how God is using this time to bring you through and teaching you about himself. So I hope you have a really great day. Enjoy the weather, enjoy the sunshine, and enjoy your time with Jesus.